Hey, what's going on? My name is Alex with Portland Event Films, and today I want to talk to you about the lenses that I use for weddings. I am a Sony, you can call me fanboy, but I use the Sony ecosystem. So I use the A7IV, the A7S3, the FX3 over here. I also have the FX6. Don't really use that too much for weddings because I like to be able to be small, light, and be able to move around and not take up so much space. So I'm going to go through each of the lenses and where I use them and the different scenarios that I use them in, and then I'll give you a rundown of the lenses that I use the most and which ones, if I had to pick two lenses to shoot a wedding with, what I would use. So the first one I'm gonna start that I use the most right here. So I have this is the 16-35 f2.8. Absolutely love this lens. If they come out with an f2 or 1.8, I'm definitely getting it. You can see I have the ND filters on here. I love these ND filters. Pull this off, boom, no more ND. This is really, really nice. I would say I use this, probably this camera stays on my gimbal at all times. I really don't switch this out. Now at nighttime when I need more light, I'm gonna go ahead and switch to either the 24 or 50. Let me go ahead and put this cap on. So this is the 50mm 1.4. Absolutely love this lens. I usually primarily only use this at nighttime for the dance party. So sometimes I'll switch in between the 50 and the 24 depending on the dance party. If I have a dance party that's smaller and I want to get tighter shots to make it look better, this is what I'm gonna use. So this is the GM50. Like I said, I'll use this one or the 24 depending on what I'm shooting. So this one here on this camera and this setup, I usually have a battery pack over here so I can have it more stable. Right now I have the 28-70. Sometimes this goes onto my gimbal, but I really, really like this for the monopod. I use this mostly for bridal prep, some B-roll. Sometimes I will put this on my gimbal to use depending on the day. So either this one or 16-35. Two lenses that are usually on my gimbal the most, but I really like this. I'm able to hold this against my body, get some real steady shots. So newest lens, it's working my way into the system. I'm figuring out the best ways to use that. So next on the FX3, I have version 2. This is the 70-200 f2.8, and so I have 3 of these. So during a ceremony, I will either have one on the groom side, shooting the groom, bride side, shooting the bride, and then I'll usually put one in the very back so that way I can get different angles depending on who's talking and, you know, kind of who's in the frame of the shot. So this is what I primarily use for speeches and the ceremony. I don't use it too much other than that. Now, when I get to a wedding, this is the camera that I use the most. This is the 90 macro at f2.8, and I use this for all my bridal prep. It's not that I need to get super close macro shots, but when I have something like the 85, I have to be so far back to get focus. And sometimes I'm in tight quarters where I have like a foot, 6 inches sometime to get the shot that I'm looking for. I want to be up high. And so I use this quite a bit for bridal prep. If they had a macro 50 or something that could let in a little bit more light, I would definitely like that. But for most of my shots right now, I'm using the 90 macro. I just got this 24-70 f2. I might start using this a little bit more, but for the last like 5 years, this is the lens that I go to when I get to a wedding and I'm doing a lot of the bridal and groom prep. Now, when it comes to the dance party, this is one of my favorite lenses. It's the 85 1.4. So it'll usually be on this body so that way I can get some stability from it. I really love this. The focus on there is really snappy. The bokeh out of all these lenses looks best on this. Surprise, it's 1.4. So this is one of my favorite lenses, but it usually doesn't come on until we do sunset photos. And then for the dance party, also have the magnet ND filter. Really love this lens. So out of all these lenses and scenarios, if I had to pick two, I would probably go with the 16 to 35, which stays on my gimbal the most. And then I would probably switch over to the 85. So that way I have something tight, let in a lot of light. So those are the series of lenses that I use when filming for a wedding. Which lenses am I missing here that you use the most? These are the synopsis. So I would say here, 80% of the time, this is probably going to make its way a little bit more. This is about 30% of the time, speeches, ceremony, which are ideally, you know, some of the most important parts of the video. Then we also have the 50 that I'll use on this camera, replacing this for dances. And then I'll also use this for dancing too. And then the 90 after, you know, bridal prep is done, that kind of goes away. So overkill for a lot of people, but those are the series of lenses that I use for weddings. My name is Alex with Portland Event Films. If you have any questions about any of these lenses, don't hesitate to reach out, leave a comment below. Thank you.